try too hard, nothing's ever enough. Even if I try and try too hard, tell me what to do, say anything, yeah. Dive deeper, dive deeper, yeah. Dive deeper, dive with me, yeah. I know we could fly if we just try, if we just try. So come on, baby, dive deeper, dive deeper, yeah. Dive deeper, dive with me, yeah. I know we could fly if we just try, baby, try, try, try. You find it distracting, hold of our issues, rather die with you. We no longer talk when it gets hard, so it only gets harder. I know you were gonna get the best of me. Come a little closer, we can dive in deep. Oh, I'd rather be with you, baby. Even if I try and try too hard, nothing's ever enough. Even if I try and try too hard, tell me what to do, say anything, yeah. Dive deeper, dive deeper, yeah. Dive deeper, dive with me, yeah. I know we could fly if we just tried, if we just tried. So come on, baby, dive deeper, dive deeper, yeah. Dive deeper, dive with me, yeah. I know we could fly if we just try, baby, try, try, try. We can do better, baby, I believe. Come a little closer, we can dive in deep. We can do it better, baby, I believe. I believe. Even if I try and try so hard, nothing's ever enough. Even if I try and try so hard, tell me what you do now. Dive deeper, dive deeper, yeah. Dive deeper, dive with me, yeah. I know we could fly if we just try, if we just try. So come on, baby, dive deeper, dive deeper, yeah. Dive deeper, dive with me, yeah. I know we could fly if we just try, baby, try, try, try. Know what I got, know what I want. Boy, don't get me wrong, sure we're having fun, but it don't mean that I'm in love. I like you a lot, but you gotta step up. I'm through trying to tell you what to do, how to make me fall for you. You should learn that on your own. I'll play cool, cause I hope you pick it up soon, and you know just what to do. Don't you? Boy, just be honest.
Welcome back to day 2 of the EUF Elite Invite in beautiful Belgium. We're in Leuven, and we're into the mixed semi-finals, women's and open, quarter-finals even, I should say. The last 8 of the mixed division is going to be slimmed down to the last 4, who will make their way through. We're bringing you an all-French encounter between Sesquidistus and Manchots, and there might be a little bit on the line. Well, there's a lot on the line, but a little bit more on the line for this one, given how Manchots broke Sesquidistus' hearts at the EUCR last season. Benji Rees alongside Hannah Pendlebury.
Well, conditions have gotten a touch more windy here, but I'd say it's pretty perfect for a little bit of revenge out on the fields of the Elite Invite. I was just talking with one of the European Ultimate Federation organisers, Felix Nemec, Demo as he's known, just about how much this is such an enjoyable format. Anything can happen. We've certainly been delivered some upsets in the quarter-final stages in the open division that's just finished out, Benji.
Yes, so we have.
I'm hoping for some more, but on paper, who do we reckon?
I think you'd probably have to put Sesquidistus as the favourites. They finished second in Pool A. They 2 victories yesterday, both 15-11 over Disconnection and Tartu Turbulence, before a 15-10 loss this morning to the reigning European champions Deep Space. Manchots had a little bit more of a turbulent time in their pool. 13-11 loss to Lemmings, bounced back with a 15-13 win over Reading, and then went down 15-10 to Nulac this morning to set up this all-French encounter in terms of players to watch, maybe from either side. Certainly, if you're focusing on Sesquidistus, Gaël Ancelan's your man. 6 total goal contributions a game at the moment. Quentin Peltier, the number 64 for Manchots, has been their most potent scoring and assisting threat this weekend. Here's the aforementioned Ancelan. Sesquidistus in the white here. Chenet just pops down the line. Petitot, who's had another strong offensive impact. Ancelan creates the little upline space and weasels his way past Baptiste Guillon to put Sesquidistus on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Expect to be seeing a lot of action out of Rory Petitot. He was an absolute demon on the field yesterday in the earlier Sesquidistus live stream game. Sorry, put my teeth back in. Let's watch that in slow motion. Gaël, of course, always a bit of a cheat code, a joker in the pack. Fun facts of last weekend, of course, Tom's tourney. Ancelan joining the fold of Reading Ultimate in the second Open Division over at Tom's tourney in Bruges but a week ago.
How did that go?
It went pretty well. Reading, of course, making the excellent social media joke about the fact that they'd been knocked out, their hopes had been dashed of an Open Division 2 title 2 years on the trot, once knocked out in semis, the other knocked out in the final, of course, by Bordeaux last season. So they decided to have a Frenchman of their own. And they thanked Sesquidistus by tagging them, saying thank you very much for the lend of your player. But he was very pivotal, certainly for sure, as part of that victory. And we see John Kofi on the line as well, one of our favourite ultimate photographers.
Yeah, I talked to him before the game and I asked him what's the game plan. He said, I'm going to go out there and get a lot of Ds and we're going to win. So there you go, everyone. Insight from the man himself. First O point here for Manchots. Sesquidistus zoning up to begin. Peltier going to try and swing through the handler set to start, but everything quite vertically compressed here. Wonder if they can find a way to stretch it and get themselves some more room. Peltier, quick dish in front to Le Pezenec. Le Preux, as a transition comes to a one-on-one defense. Nearly got a hand on it, but nearly is not close enough for Maubourguet. Peltier powers his way up line. It's Couder, excuse me. Couder jams that one in. That is Quentin Peltier. And you're seeing why Ancelan and Peltier are the main stat compilers for their team over the course of the group phase.
Yeah, that was nice containment defense there from Sesquidistus' D-line. You can see there's that little bit extra edge of youth talent on this Manchots side. Of course, as you said, Benji, they're rather an upstart that caused all sorts of mischief in the standings last season. Sesquidistus, sort of the more established programme. And if my memory serves, Benji, Manchots are kind of a bit of a mountainous affair.
Le Mans, of course, the scene of many a sporting triumph of speed and endurance, two qualities that probably held them in good stead. And for those of you unfamiliar with your français, it's a penguin. Yeah, you've just done the googling.
I wanted to double check myself. It was little penguins.
Yeah, it's one of the things that, because I did exactly the same thing last year. Like, I wonder where the name comes from, and yes, they're the penguins, and there's a slight little bit of penguin coloration to their jerseys. Nothing too extreme, but the black, the white, and the orange, it's a familiar tone.
And a good use of the rules there. Offsides being called. It's the first time we've seen on this live stream pitch, I believe.
Sesquidistus called one yesterday against Tartu Turbulence, so they're watching.
I missed that.
Very first point of the game, we had everything ready to go, tracking the pool well, and then it's an offside and it's a slow start anyway. Barentin Loris Petitot tracks the throw to space. Now inside, Lenoir. Ancelan just about creates enough space. Then the lower Loris Petitot, those two, such good synergy. Barentin dishing it off to Ancelan. Doesn't have the quick one downfield. Barentin a little bit off balance, but still catches. Now going with the inside backhand, a little bit of fancy footwork. The toe tap at the front of the end zone from Benoit Lebert. And that is 2-1.
All very solid starts here, Benji. We love to see it. Of course, we had a bit of a tale of two pools, really, in this mixed division. Pool B, a bit of a mess until those final placement games this morning. But yesterday, everyone just beating their opponents. So emerging into today, everyone same record, 1 win, 1 loss.
Yeah, so this pool really was up in the air, and Manchots, by virtue of a... well, unfortunately, they had a 15-10 loss in their final game, set them in the 3rd spot in the pool, just in front of Reading. This side of the bracket, the winner of this game plays the winner of Tartu Turbulence and Nulacht Ultimate, the Germans. Disconnection versus Lemmings and Deep Space versus Reading are on the other half of the bracket. Peltier. Tight defensive coverage from Sesquidistus, but they're able to get free under, and the cannon is fired, and it is fired true from Le Petit Bon. Peltier with the 2nd goal of the game.
Wow, that was an absolute cannon of a backhand. Really just the perfect shot to choose. Of course, Petit Bon, if you've been watching the French juniors programs, then won't be a surprise to see her making absolute moves. She's been playing since 2017, so a 7-year career for the youngster, the 20-year-old. And of course got that silver medal at the Joint Juniors Ultimate Championships back last season.
Yeah,
sorry, 2 seasons ago, sorry.
Brilliant performance from the French side there. Was so impressed with them in both the women's and the open divisions, actually. Were excellent, very good value for those silver medals. And was it 12 years as a dancer as well, which might explain some fancy footwork.
Indeed.
I think actually, especially when you're young, I think it's so important that you don't get streamlined into becoming a one-sport athlete. You know, you play as many sports, as much physical activity as you can, because as well as, you know, your fight, you might pigeonhole yourself and find that actually there's some more out there for you that you still really enjoy. It helps to round you both as an athlete, it adds extra skills and strings to your bows, and as a person as well, because you make new friends, you meet new groups of people, and it all works out well in the end.
Yeah, all too often you see ultimate athletes get burned out.
That is the other thing, yeah, of course. If you do something for so long, it's easy to, when you eventually kind of run out of rope, that all of a sudden you just can't face it anymore, and playing multiple sports prevents that. Charnet. Barentin thinking about the break. Instead just shaping that one. The upline space cut off. Is it going to come at the 2nd attempt? Oh, it did. Not a particularly good throw from Anthony Charnet, though. Nothing Céline Antoine could do.
Yeah, difficult cut to hit, though. Antoine's sort of move towards that cone is very flat and just trailed off a little bit too soon, I suppose. But, yeah, as you say, the throw could have been a little bit better.
Manchots looking for the game's first break after they've managed to coax the game's first turnover. Swinging it around in the backfield for now. A little bit of a slip, but made it stick. No idea how they found the window there, but they did. And again, this is so tight from Sesquidistus. That time Barentin arrives a little bit late. I was trying to think of a better word for it and I couldn't. It's an accepted foul. We are back in action. Looking for the little dish off. That's not the way to find it though.
No, really way too dialed in. Kind of got to move Barentin around. She is a big old athlete. As in only just big. She's got large wingspan, unlike a penguin. She's got rather swoopy arms, so you do really have to move her around when she's marking you. But that's a fantastic peel off from the stack for Manchots.
Yeah, read that one all the way. And Julie Menard, I think it is, who's knew exactly what they wanted, telegraphed a little bit from Barentin, and she gets the rewards in the block. Here's a deep shot, all sorts of space. Barentin will close as the disc floats over, but a majestic take, skyscraping down. Nothing Barentin, the help defender, could do.
Who says penguins can't fly?
That one looking for the hop, skip and the jump into the end zone. It's on the target as well. Manchots have the game's first break.
Well, that was really lovely stuff. Hugo Urbain there, kind of one of the players of that point, taking that big one down with Barentin chasing. Really loved the way he attacked this disc. Let's get another look at it. So you can see great peel off from Maëlle Barentin, just trying to put that pressure on, but just by going up early at that perfect moment, Hugo Urbain clearly knows exactly what his vertical reach point is. Just 175 centimeters though, so not really the tallest man you'll ever meet on a frisbee pitch, but extremely springy.
I must say, he felt taller than that at that moment, didn't he?
Absolutely. Just work on that vertical. But of course, coming from Angers, so perhaps might play some open ultimate with Magic Disc.
Oui, oui.
That meet. I always feel like it should be Disque Magique, because of course the French for magic wand is Baguette Magique.
Very good.
But no unearthly magic required. Just some very solid skills there for Manchots as they take the first break in the game.
So, late invite last year, Sesquidistus looked good in the pool phase, but then came unstuck in the quarterfinals. Is that the fate that befalls them this year? Maybe if Céline Antoine sees it sneak through her grasp. Slow pickup this time. Guillaume is going to lead Plot to space. He does track it. A lot of taping going down the back of that left calf. Huge bid. Petitot thinks he got it clean. Not sure Peltier necessarily agrees. He does. Turnover stands. Wow. That was obscene, frankly.
I like that, especially just to have that discussion, give yourself the opportunity.
Second shot for Sesquidistus. Antoine. Looking for a reset that clears through, it's tipped, but Ancelan sticks anyway. He's got no force for a little bit. Can't get the disc out of his hands quickly enough to maybe really take advantage. No immediately available options for him. Lebert really showing that around, and it opens up the space for the inside, and then Petitot to Ancelan for three.
Yeah, a little bit of Ancelan Petitot on the back there, just really taking control of this point and just doing exactly what they want, which they can do. They are those caliber of athletes where almost like the rest of the 7 athletes on the pitch become a little bit surplus to requirements, but you can only get away with that for so long, and you can only get away with it for certain margins of the pitch. Of course, red zone is a good place to do that for sure, and that one really redeemed, of course, by the Petitot layout block, which was absolutely scandalous.
It's, yeah, beggars belief that Petitot gets a double happiness of sorts. Having got the block, then throws the assist. think he'd consider himself having done a job well done there. Manchots still in the better position though, up one break. If they can maintain this all the way through to the half, they will receive to begin the second period.
Yes, indeed, in prime position. We are certainly expecting fine things. Of course, our bracket here for the mixed division, two quarterfinals with fellow compatriots knocking their country folks out.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier that Deep Space and Reading, those two familiar British opponents, back at it together once more.
Indeed. And Reading, of course, being bolstered by a couple of folks today, especially in their female matching players who couldn't make the games yesterday afternoon. Kofi looking hungry. Maybe they didn't feed him any lunch.
No, he did say he was going to get some Ds. Hasn't managed it just yet. Points the spot. And Gouder's wasting no time in getting it in play. Petit Bomb with the bucket hat fastened at the sides. Peltier has a pick. I'm trying to work out what Petit Bon's hat reminds me of.
It's the EYUC player gift hat, of course, from Padova last season.
Is it?
Yep. And of course, Petit Bon, one of those absolutely insanely talented players. Of course, we'd already mentioned her joint juniors silver medal performance, but they rather ripped across the fields and destroyed every team in their path to the gold medal last season in Padova.
Another bid comes flying through that this time is just short from Michon. Must admit, there were some eyebrows raised as the huck goes long across the field. What a bomb that is. And then the high release. I must have been a hard amount a little bit for Le Preux, but it wasn't meant for her. It was meant for Petit Bon, who catches, and Manchots re-establish their advantage.
Oh, Benji, this is going to be quite the tussle, I think, between these two teams. Obviously, it's still very early days, but you can really see how much Sesquidistus really want to get themselves back on serve and take that natural advantage from having won the toss. Etienne Michon really just flowing his body around, but the breaks for this Manchot side are very, very enjoyable to watch, and certainly that little creativity to Petit Bon at the final moment. Very intelligent, visionary frisbee.
Yeah, we were talking about how there's so much youth talent that comes up through France that a lot of observers, myself included, were surprised to not see France enter any teams into the Under-24 World Championships last year in Nottingham, but instead they were focusing on EUC, and given that they took home the gold medal in the mixed division and were quarterfinalists in the Open and Women's, they might say in the end that they were justified. I think the debate will forever rage on about whether or not they should have done that, but athletes can only play so much frisbee, A, to avoid burnout and injury, and B, because unfortunately it costs money to play still. We're at that stage where athletes have to find ways to fund it, and you can only play so much Ultimate before that funding runs out. Maybe
we need to create an app so we can connect Ultimate players to the sugaring community so they can find sponsors for their passion. Because who wouldn't want to hang out with Ultimate players?
No comment. Petito goes back to Ansalan, and the two of them will just play a little bit of smooth jazz in the backfield between themselves. But Petito's forced to find a secondary option. Badontan, cut comes off the front, well covered. Still rising. Can she find the reset? Lovely leading throw to Ansalan. Had he taken off? They're going to call it good.
Yep, called a goal on the pitch. So that will keep things rolling on serve here, Benji. 4 apiece. And the intensity of this defense is really enjoyable to watch. But at the moment, it's pretty much nose for nose, nudge for nudge. We are getting turnovers from both sides. Of course, it was that second attempt for Manchot that got them that break. I really enjoy watching Maëlle Barentin.
Yep.
Such a little marshal of the offense. But that must have been quite a high stall situation to have to find Gaël Lancelin.
Really nice throw, though, because the marker there is in the middle. A little bit of a face mark, so I can't see the thrower. And as long as Barentin can pop that over the top and make sure that it's not so floaty that traffic can come in from the stack and get in the way, by the time the defender sees it, well, it's because Lancelin's already caught it.
Yep. And especially easy for Maëlle Barentin, though, because, of course, as I've already mentioned, she's got quite the wingspan to use.
Didn't see whether that one landed in or out of bounds on the far sideline, because we don't have the best angle, but the fact that they've signalled the brick indicates that it was, in fact, not in the field of play. Pouzet takes in from the brick mark. Split stack with 2 on either side of the field. Petit Bon comes under on the far side. Tries to squirrel a reset, does Couder, and he's able to do so. Oh, it's going the wrong way. That's a superb catch from Perrine Lepreux, because it's always tricky when the edge is taking it out of your path, not only to get there, but also to make sure that it sticks in there, and going with the clap catch layout probably hurt a little bit, but putting the body on the line. Couder flips the high release to Lepreux. High or low, she'll get it anywhere. Petit Bon. Bon catching again that leading throw, and then towards the far sideline, runs out of room and runs out of rope. A stoppage of some sort, but I didn't see what the call was.
Maybe a push-off foul, just by virtue of the fact that it's a stoppage.
Did it affect the, I was going to say the completion, the non-completion of that catch?
Well, irrespective, I think that if it's a push-off foul, then you can still accept it. I mean, irrespective, it's going to be a turnover, because you've still got to catch the frisbee on the end of it, unless it's a foul that's called a stoppage that affects play. But I was about to compliment Les Manchots off the fact that their timing was quite good. They were having some issues with double cutting at some point, players slashing across the field, bringing their defenders with them, sort of almost in alignment with each other. But just as they started to adapt and move vertically, that spoiled throw gives it all away. And an opportunity here for Sesquidistus to put us back on serve, but that's a bad miss.
A little bit behind, but in a game of such fine margins, a little bit is a whole lot. Not sure whether you put that on Tessier, the thrower, or you say, well, it's got a hand on it, so you should have caught it.
I spied 2 hands on it, Benji.
It's a floater, defender will close, good body position, and it's in the end zone as well. Perrine Lepreux is certainly making her presence felt.
Well, you say that, Benji. I think that's a fair understatement. Lepreux, of course, with that layout clap catch that's, I mean, an older player that might come and haunt you in the early hours of Sunday morning. But of course, just 19 years of age is Perrine Lepreux. Let's get another look at that final scoring possession for her. Love that poise, going up with both arms, so really closes out the space above her. But she's been playing for 8 years, has Perrine Lepreux.
So she's old then, right?
Nah, she's been playing since she was 11, mate. So
she's 19. Yeah, okay, sure.
And of course,
it's great. I must say, I love it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Certainly a star of French programs to come. And of course, plenty of the athletes out here at the elite invite level will be representing their respective nations, and the French teams, of course, no exception to that rule later on this season. But Lepreux, of course, dominating in the under-20s division for quite some time.
It's only a matter of time before she makes not just an impact, but a big impact at full senior level for the French national sides. Ancelin just has to dish off and takes a couple of steps before he decides to activate himself downfield. Barentin running the give-go. Wants it back from Maton. Gillian Gay. That, I was going to say, has he got the feather in his cap still? He has. That's an unorthodox choice of throw, just to pump the flick towards the far side, but with the force stood off, may as well. Now Petitot rips the forehand to space, and it's inside for Lenaël Maton, and that is a clean hold for Sesquidistus.
Yeah, you could see the frustration on the defenders there. I think maybe a blown switch. Angel Villayer. My goodness, put my teeth back in this afternoon with the cap on. That EYUC player gift. Of course, as you'd expect from a juniors event, Benji, those player gift hats don't fit everyone's brain size. Although, I say brain size, I just mean the size of their skulls.
I was going to say, because I don't know this because I'm not a scientist, right? But I feel like the size of your head is not necessarily impacted by the size of your brain, or vice versa.
I think there's a correlation between the two. However, it's not the size of your brain, it's the amount of the percentage of your cranium that you actually engage at any one time.
Lolo, be careful with that drone, please. You very nearly got taken out there. Although I hear you get double points for that, so maybe it's worth it.
Oh, a bit like pedestrian skittles. Can you hit the drone?
So how's your driving license? How many points have you got?
Only play it in your mind, Benji.
You don't have to answer that.
Oh, no, I have a clean license. Always had. Haven't involved in one accident. That was when someone hit the side of my car in a car park.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need to know what happened to my previous car. But you do need to know that the insurance paid me handsomely for it. Underneath it, Peltier's the main man for them in a sandwich! And Peltier snatches the filling. You saw a mousetrap. He saw free cheese and a challenge, and he grabs it for the score.
I'm just going to let that hang for a little bit, Benji. That was absolutely stunning. And to be honest, it looked like Jean Kofi and Maxime Nijot. Oh, no, sorry. That's the wrong 95. That's Didier Michon, of course. Just absolutely flabbergasted by what had just occurred. But hey, Quentin Petier clearly just eyes on the prize the whole way up and afterwards as well. Michon getting that little bit of bubble. But of course, Benji, what 3-word phrase comes to mind in these situations? Catch your D's.
I have heard that. I have heard that, and I think
there are some situations.
I think they're trying it, but
no, there are some situations. No, there was a lot of swatting going on there. I think for the bobbling, but obviously when you've got a sandwich like that, there are situations. Yes, when actually going for the big boss, when you're coming in at a side angle, there are situations where okay, the Mac is the better, but on that one, catch these, mate.
We won't keep saying it if people start catching him. That's all. That's correct. That's all we'll say. Chenet to Ansela. Does he want the reset? No, he's going to squeeze the inside through, and Chenet continues a floater. Barentin gets the call from Petitot. This one's mine. The 1-on-1 in the end zone. He's able to roll that around the mark, lead Barentin to space, and it's sixes. This game progressing at quite a pace, Hannah.
Oh, very much so, Benji. We're nearly at the half, and only 30 minutes of gameplay expired. Of course, these games, if you're not already familiar with the format here at the Elite Invite 2024, it is games to a soft cap, so score cap of 15 total, halves played to 8, unless of course you reach 40 minutes. If this game were to be dragging out slowly, you would add a +1 cap after 40 minutes of the game has expired, just to make sure that there is that opportunity to change ends in inclement conditions or in one of those sort of long drawn out battles. But hats off to the defense. Quite literally in that point there was you find yourself in a very difficult situation when you have two elite players on the corner just like that, and exactly the right move to go for the layout block bid from the mark. Just wasn't quite enough to take away that one, but Manchots still that nudge in front, one break up, Benji, and I expect the way that both these teams are playing, we may yet see a trade of momentum.
It feels like the sort of game where it will only be a break or so either way that decides it. Deciding to have a little bit of milking there, Couder, and he gains some yardage, but then can't connect with the next throw.
Yeah, watched it all the way into his hands. Usually you have people forget to think about the finesse on the catch and then don't get the opportunity for the throw, but that one just really behind the back.
Ansalani's come over to the D-line now. Bru, who had that first? Leproux says, nope, that's fine, it's yours. I think simultaneous, or I got a little bit late. We'll stay here with Tiffaine Lachi.
Rest of the players just chatting in the stack.
A little bit of shrugging downfield, which...
Yeah, just resetting, having a quick chat of, yeah, I was here. No, you were here. Okay, cool.
Bru, big fake. Opens up the break space that Ansalan's all too happy to oblige in taking. Mobogue dishes backwards. Tessier.
I'll tell you what, if you want a clinic in defensive footwork, look at the matchup between Corder, not Corder. Look at the wrong side of my stat sheet again. We'll talk about it in a sec.
As cool as you like, first time Sesquidistus' D-line has really had too much of an extended run, and they make it stick. Gwenel Tessier punching it in with Anaïs Mobogue on the reception, and Sesquidistus with their first break of the game bring us back on server 7-6.
Yes, indeed, Benji. So no, I should have backed myself. It was Corder I was talking about. It was Ancelin Corder who took that matchup of Laurie Petitot. But I think Sesquidistus putting a little bit of a power line on that point, Benji. A couple of the O-line stars coming across to apply that pressure. And pressure indeed. Corder, who actually was the unfortunate result, responsible for that turnover, their throw that just didn't quite meet the matchup. But the way he really smothered Laurie Petitot, it did not actually touch the disc at any point during that final possession there for the break, but really fantastic, kind of just really nullifying every move he was making, staying toe-to-toe, not overcommitting his hips at any point, staying active on the balls of his feet. Just a joy to watch as a defender.
Timeout here on the field. The pendulum swinging back in Sesquidistus' favour. They've got a 7-6 lead.
Get there. Yes, he will.
The lovely did.
I'll start there again. 7-6 Sesquidistus score. Try saying that 10 times in a row on a hot Belgian afternoon. They lead their compatriots Manchots. This was the game to go to EUCF last season, and Manchots won on Universe. And although, looking at the results this weekend, I think you'd probably say Sesquidistus are the slight favourites. It's one of those kind of local rivalry games where the old cliche goes, you can throw the form book out of the window. Because these teams, they know each other well, they know those specific matchups, and you get that little bit of extra fire as well when you're playing a team that you are oh so familiar with. Pouzet to Peltier. Peltier fakes the flick over the shoulder of John Kofi, and he didn't seem particularly keen to buy it. That one floats, but defender gets too far underneath it, and it's going to continue to lead down the line. What stride length, just ate up the grass in front of him.
What the what? How on earth did they get away with that? Especially that absolute loft ball that just, you know, took some roof tiles off that was sent to Gaetan Lepezenek.
They are going to say here that was not quite in the end zone, Anselin Couder, so picking up right on that front cone. Petit Bon can't get away out of a jam, but they can just squeeze it down the line to Quentin Peltier. Couder's 4th assist, Peltier's 4th score, and we've got ourselves a Galaxy point, Hannah.
Oh yeah, giving us exactly what we want here on our live stream. Yep, that's the one. That is definitely the one. Yeah, looking at some of these Manchots goals here, just the stats on the board, it's been a generally pretty well spread affair in terms of the stats for their female and male matching players, but I'm really enjoying watching this little clinic that Anselin Couder is giving us. Just so lovely to see him open up the pedal on that far sideline. Solid discussion as well, and just chucking it in. So all on serve. If this one just trades out Benji, of course, it will be Sesquidistus who will advance into semi-finals.
Yeah, having, of course, begun the game on offense. This one of 4. There's obviously quarterfinals in the mixed division going on right now. On field 1 behind us. Tartu Turbulence trail Nulact 5-6. Disconnection have a 7-6 lead on Lemmings, and Deep Space and Reading are tied at 5s, so only a point at most between each side in the 4 quarterfinals. That's exactly what you want at a tournament like the Elite Invite, with 8 of the continent's best in each division going head-to-head, fighting tooth and nail.
And all these people, Benji, who said that Pool B was just full of a bunch of softies.
Or at least words to that effect. It's the short option, there it is, Petito. Such a workhorse for this offense. Petito wants the leading throw to space, just about curls it around the defender to Anselin. Big old bite of it on the mark, but the Monster Munch gets nothing. Defender flashes into the space, who's poached? Well, in the end, it's Barentin, and that is an 8-7 half-time lead for the Strasbourg side, Sesquidistus.
Oh, that break side space was looking so tempting. I'm surprised that shot went to Anselin, although am I? Actually, no, I'm not. Because 9 times out of 10, if you've got Gaël Anselin looking at you, staring you down, and you've got a frisbee in your hand, you're going to give it to the man.
Yeah, especially Petito, the two of them just have such good chemistry and connection that there's a reason why they are 2 key pieces of this Sesquidistus side. And here's that final scoring pass for you once more. Barentin just sitting in that space, and a little bit of space is all you need in the red zone.
Absolutely, but very good red zone defense it was though, Benji. Gaël Anselin had to hold on to that frisbee for quite some time, but in traditional fashion of those last couple of seconds, that's when the position is found.
8-7, half-time here in the Elite Invite quarter-final. Who will take that semi-final spot tomorrow morning? We'll find out very shortly. See you on the other side. What a beautiful shot that is here of Leuven, the home of the Elite Invite for 2024. Last division in the quarterfinals now, the mixed division. And they are all as tight as you like. Benji Rees and Hannah Pendlebury here. We're bringing you coverage of the all-French affair between Sesquidistus and Manchots, and Sesquidistus have an 8-7 half-time lead. On field 1 behind us, which is the single camera Ulti TV commentary, LTTV coverage with the remote commentary. Nulact up 7-5 on Tartu Turbulence last I saw. You can have Lorcan Murray on the call for that one. On the VO stream, Sean Colfer is calling Disconnection versus Lemmings. That was tied at 7, so a Galaxy point there as well. And on the far field away, which is the no commentary VO cam, Deep Space and Reading are locked at 5, so every quarter-final is so tight. Those semi-spots very much still to be decided as the second half gets underway. Justine Bru with the pool that is going to be fielded just shy of the end zone. What does this second stanza have in store for us? Ben Chiris and Hannah Pendlebury with you to find out. Peltier. The Manchot handlers faced with trying to unpick this Sesquidistus zone. And so far, looking fairly unflustered by it, I think.
Yeah, the wind conditions are ideal for playing a little bit of zone offense. It's just a case of just keeping your heads on. I like the idea of chucking it on, especially early doors in the second half, see if you can get a cheeky break of score. And also playing against a team of younger athletes who might be tempted into something a little bit more spicy. I know a lot of them playing for the best part of a decade, but they still have that youthful zest and energy. Yeah, that sometimes over-exuberance, but so far Manchot looking solid, and especially coming out of half, it makes sense because you have plenty of time to really talk about, draw up exactly what are you going to play, who's going where, how are we doing it. I thought that was a miscommunication, and maybe it was, but Peltier is able to recover. Trying to fake around that front line. Petit Bon gets that free reset available. There's not too much pressure behind the disc necessarily. A slice through. Sliced too hard by Peltier, and it falls to turf. Le Preux has bailed out Manchot on a couple of occasions, but this time not even she's speedy enough to connect with that absolute laser blast.
The formidable Preux picks up. Looks into the backfield. Takes the first pass, and now they're going to play a little bit of 1-2 between the handlers there. Mobogue comes back on the far side. There's a call. Looks like Ophile Gavillet on the mark. The question will be, was that released before Gavillet got a hand in there?
Interesting. I mean, it's all about how it feels, but looks-wise, I'm unsure, just by virtue of how much the disc sort of wobbled out of the hand there. But they'll have a good chat about it. Let's get a third look.
Yeah, it's really close, isn't it?
Yeah, especially because actually Ophélie Gavillet's hand is quite stationary. She's not kind of flapping around. But bit of Shakira there for you, Benji.
Manchot might feel that justice has been served. Petit Bon with the run through D to get it back. But offense struggling to get moving here. Petit Bon has to take the little dish to Peltier. High, but caught. Continuing to swing. The wind picking up a little bit more now. Hill.
Ouch. Lightning
fast hand speed there from Gavillet. And again, it's so tight and congested in there. But Petit Bon sees the space, puts the touch on it, and Peltier answers his 5th goal of the 8 that Manchot have scored.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Benji, that is another to the tally of Peltier. Just built a little bit different in this end zone today. I mean, of course, it's not exactly a deep surprise to see him reeling in the stats board because he's had a pretty good tournament up to this point. But
confirmed.
Just in time, and another look at that absolute scorcher. Gavillet just been like, no, this is my frisbee, thanks.
See you later.
Yeah, see you, bye. But also that lovely pivot out from, I think that was Petit Bon, no? That's through the assist.
Oui.
Proper kind of, put itself on a hydraulic riser going all the way down to the floor to release that disc, and it hits the perfect spot.
Yeah, good game so far for Le Petit Bon. Not a surprise.
It's that dance of flexibility, mate.
It is something that, unfortunately, I do not and have never possessed. We've not been tracking total passes, so unfortunately the graphics not much good. Trust me, there have been some completed. Sorry, Booth. You're doing a good job regardless.
Love as well the fact that Le Petit Bon says, or Lila, she quotes her favourite sporting hero as Nadal, and of course everyone knows that of Rafa Nadal, the tennis player. Lots of tennis crossover athletes actually out here at this elite invite.
Barentin wound up for the big shot and then decided against it. Gay. Sesquidistus is working down the far sideline. That is a beautiful leading throw, and Barentin should probably have had that one.
You can see the clap of frustration, but she'll just use that as fuel for her fire. Manchots, of course, though, looking to strike again like a coiled viper. They did take first blood.
Like a coiled penguin. Hey, those things can get vicious if you try and take the eggs.
That's true.
Not that I know from experience or anything. There's the deep shot. It is absolutely banged. I mean, full throttle, full steam ahead, unleashed by Sam Pro, but too much angle, too much height made it tricky to read as well.
Well, your talk of stealing penguin eggs, Benji, made me think of how I could try and get a poacher reference in, but that one was a full 2 shotgun barrels worth of backhand huck. Very spicy, and I mean, a valiant effort to try and run down from Urban, but unfortunately, that one just had way too much roll curve on it.
It was saucy in the extreme. Delicious low release break that I thought was going to ask too much of Petitot, but apparently not. And now Petitot says, screw your conservation of greatness. I'm going to make the layout, pick myself up, bang it, and Kylian Gay, past the bidding defender, puts Sesqui back on top.
Oh, Laurie Petitot, wow.
Yep, some player.
Oh, that was just a bit of magic. I mean, there's not really too much to say about it other than the fact that it was a delightful layout. But as you say, Benji, as you said live, conservation of greatness be damned.
There was a time when you would make a play like that and think, okay, I'll just reset it. I'm not going to get ahead of myself.
Nah, mate,
and
bang
Petitot says, I'm feeling good. Gay's got a couple of steps. Why not do it? But it required a precision throw. And there's just enough angle to take it past the defender. Comes back in, and a sniper shot that Gay recognised on his celebration. 9-8 Sesqui up on Manchots. This game has been... it's been really fun. giggling like a little school kid. It's great.
I mean, my favourite part of that replay, Benji, was the fact that the sort of stunned faces of the audience currently sat out at the bar. We've got a lot of Ultimate players trying to stay cool here under the hot beating sun of Leuven.
It's warm, yeah.
After last year's spring invite, did we ever think we'd be saying that?
I don't know, I wasn't there. But I'm guessing from the tone of voice you did not.
No, it was wet and wild in Leuven last season.
Well, when I came to Leuven for a couple of days last year, and it was 30+ degrees, and I nearly melted. And thankfully, it's not quite that hot today, but hydration is certainly key, so you've got every last ounce of energy. Couder and Peltier. Zipped that one to his teammate, and he caught it almost with his face. But as long as it sticks, not a lot of action going on downfield. Things quite compressed. There's the side through. Gavier. Couder just beckons. Trying to get that spacing sorted. 3 up front, 3 in the midfield, and Anselan just prowling that deep section.
Oh, yes. He is very, very good at playing in the deeps and just sort of sniffing around for blocks. just when you think he's disappeared and gotten distracted somewhere else, he'll just, you know, poof, appear in a cloud of smoke and DU.
Short throw goes to Lepezanek. Still count rising. What a ripper. Zings it across, and now deep air underneath it, and Ansalan can't quite close, allowed the receiver beyond him, and the accuracy needed to be good with the aforementioned Ansalan in the area, but Gavier, her aim is true, and Hill ties us back up once more at 9s. It feels like this one's going to go all the way down to the wire.
Absolutely, Benji, and I am very, very here for it. I mean, I really am enjoying the just level of execution that Manchots have found with those big hucks and puts. I mean, there was still the very real threat of Ansalan there in the area, looking around, kind of trying to get himself positioned, so you do have to hold your nerve on them. But yeah, absolutely wonderful play. And to speak to your point about hydration, Benji, it is actually a really key part of athletic performance. We know that lots of ultimate athletes in recent seasons have really gotten on this strength and conditioning hype. They post their gym workouts on their social media, etc. But actually, you can, if you lose excess of 5% of your body weight in terms of your hydration levels, you can actually decrease the capacity for your work by 30% in terms of your musculation. So actually, people talk about hydration being key, but it's such a underrated part of just keeping yourself in physical shape here, especially in these hot conditions.
Ansalan fakes the deeper option, but that's not necessarily been Sesquidistus' #1 game plan. But they've got the big man Lebert going deep, and I thought they might take him, but short to Petitot instead. Lebert back on the underneath cut is the option. Again, protracted wind-up. He really is trying to space players out. Petitot to Barentin, and Petitot's on the run. Barentin wanted the leading pass, and there's a miscommunication on a switch. And Barentin says, I was going to say thank you very much, probably not. Merci beaucoup. And she rolls the backhand around for the score.
There is a lot of hand slapping going on the sidelines here. These two teams really enjoying going toe-to-toe. Just as you say, Benji, that spoiled defensive switch. I was surprised not to see more switching action earlier on in the point, actually. There was a moment where there was some really... With Sesquidistus' offense, they really take turns to move. They're not kind of all going at once. There's not this kind of cascading sort of, you know, river flowing over rocks sort of motion that you do get from Manchots when they're on offense. As we get a nice look at a body of water there. Lovely zone.
I mean, we were talking about hydration.
Indeed we were, just to make you thirsty. But yeah, in terms of Sesquidistus, they do kind of lend themselves a bit more to kind of bracketing and switching, because they are very sort of metronomic. They have one person cutting at a time. They're not kind of using that chaos energy that seems to be the vibe for Manchots.
I think if they had a really wry sense of humour, they'd have managed to find an aerial shot of a brewery when we were talking about hydration. But alas, the moment's passed. Petit bon. Peltier screaming for it, but he didn't get it at the first attempt, but it allowed for the block. The merest of hands was all that we needed. Moboguet was able to disrupt it. Can Sesqui open up the game's first 2-point advantage? Ella. Telachi. Ansalan, you can see him really attack the disc, so he creates that angle for himself. Moboguet. Back to Ansalan, who's going to burn one of their timeouts here, give them a chance to get set. Knowing how tight this game has been, getting a 2-point advantage could be everything, Hannah.
Yeah, and I really don't mind the in-play timeout here. We're not always huge fans of them, as we call them, the turn and burn, time over.
The turnout.
Yeah, it's a Yeah, it's a fight, but we all see how it plays out for them. It was a very static set up there for Sesquidistus, so hopefully this can inject some ideas into the four.
Let's have...
Get there. Yes, he will. The lovely did. Come on, break!
So here's what it looks like after that timeout. It's a very standard 2-5 vertical set.
But what do you reckon as to this affair? What cutting order do we think?
I think it's just going to be a knife into the stack, to be honest.
Moses by force.
Maybe not. Checked in. Squirreling underneath. Lachi goes to ground but does secure. And now Ella. Oh, slightly spicy and dicey. Stoppage in the center.
Well, Tiffen Lachi, the isolation, no surprise there.
Can they punch it over? Back to Anselin. Towards the front. Easy as you like. Pierre Monet with a Sesquidistus break. It's the first time they've been a break-up, and it's the first 2-point lead of the game for either side. And it's come for Sesquidistus. Late on, is that enough?
Again, it's that patience, waiting for the moment to develop. Manchots are playing absolutely by the skins of their teeth type defense, really just shaking them around. Sesquidistus so often, Benji, they're only just about finding the end zone on maybe stall 6 or 7, which is not a comfortable position for them to be in. They are, of course, being effective, but Monet really having to just race in at the last moment, taking advantage of the fact that his matchup, I think that was Bouzet, had become a little bit flat-footed there, getting distracted.
All these quarterfinals in the mixed division are so close they could swing either way. Tartu Turbulence have brought it back to 9s against Nulart, of course 11-9 here. Lemmings have a 10-9 lead on Disconnection, while Deep Space had an 8-5 lead on Reading at half.
Oh, Benji, that result for Tartu Turbulence, well, what an absolute turnaround that would be, going from the bottom of the pool to knocking out the top seed from the opposite.
So the pool, Manchots catch and get in play quickly. Petit bon. I think it's the pinning up of the bucket that makes it look a little bit Old West. Petit bon. Finds the seam and exploits to Pouzet. That one thrown too close, offline. Simple run through D for Maubourguet, her second of the game.
Yeah, just sort of switching off the attention and focus there. But that is what Sesquidistus wants to do with this zone, just kind of bore the opposition to tears almost.
Yeah, they play the percentages. You're going to make pass after pass after pass. And eventually, we're going to coax the error out of you. And we are going to punish it with ruthless effect. Having got the block, Maubourguet then throws the score to Cedric Wagentrutz. And 12-9 Sesquidistus now. They're beginning to escape into the semis.
Yeah, really interesting there. Where has the defense gone for Manchots that they applied early on in the games? I mean, obviously, you do have to be mindful of not making contact with your opponent, but at least trying to maybe go for that layout bid. This is, of course, quarterfinals after all, and it is starting to get towards crunch time. Only 3 more points are required from Sesquidistus to take this one and run their way through to semi-finals. So you really need to start putting your body on the line.
Manchots just look a little bit tired to me. They've got fewer numbers among their ranks this weekend than Sesqui do anyway, and it feels like we're seeing the same players be relied upon time and time and time again, and that, in the end, is maybe seeing them run out of steam. It's evaporating under this warm Belgian sun. Have we mentioned how lovely it is here in Leuven? It's great, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
Does it make the company.
Does it make you want to move your dancing feet, Benj?
Don't know about that much.
Maybe a little bit of white boy shuffle.
You know what I'm like when I'm excited. I'm up on my feet. I'm pacing around back and forth.
Yeah, all right.
Getting the energy going.
Some of us can't stand up in this tent, or we whack our head on metal.
Skill issue, mate. Skill issue. It has worked out at a perfect height for me, but that doesn't happen very often. So you take it where you get it. They're trying to inject a bit more dynamism from the back here. There's certainly more movement. It's not as static as it was on the previous 2 possessions, and that was part of what forced the errors. If you keep the disc moving, you can get Sesquidistus out of shape and out of phase, and that opens up more spaces.
There's also a lovely thing for Sesquidistus here. Of course, you know, early stages of the season, getting to come out and run this zone around as well, sort of experiment with it. Is that going to...
I think that was just about in. And the Sesquidistus sideline signals so.
Well, excellent toe work. Wow.
I mean just about. A little flip over the top. A little swaz on that one. But they've moved the disc a lot, and they've gone, well, pretty much nowhere. They're still right on their end zone line. There's no vertical element to their offense at the moment, and they've actually gone back into their own end zone. And I remember Sesquidistus were here against Tartu Turbulence, and before I could even say, I wonder if they're thinking about the Callahan, they'd managed to get one. At what point do their opponents pull the trigger? Instead, utilizing the throw and go motion well, just gives them that little bit of space. Who's there? The coup d'air.
Again, it's such a passive zone, Benji. Really just looking to try and deny Manchots and get them to throw into one of their poachers.
You're right that it's not necessarily aggressively forcing the turn, but it is so frustrating.
It's containment defense.
That's the word exactly I wanted. Thank you.
It's that sort of defense that makes the light go out in your opponent's eyes. Oof.
And look, they're back in their own end zone again. Sesqui are playing this to perfection. Petit bon. There's no synergy between what's going on with the handlers and what's going on downfield. This might finally open them up with the side into the front teeth of that defense. Get a little bit of space beyond, but now the shackles come on once more. At the very least, they've got it beyond their own brick mark, so they can just breathe a little easier. Still would be perilous field position in which to surrender it, though.
Calder again impressing us. Actually, no, that's not Calder. That's Pelletier impressing us by keeping things moving. We're just trying to sit the zone, but it's Calder that has the error.
Yeah, the layout came, got a hand on it. Maybe could have committed to it a little bit earlier. Bru taking the timeouts. Just doing it casually, just a little tee on the disc. We're done here. We'll get the disc back in on one after this timeout.
That really confused me, that signal, Benji, because actually that's the hand
Spirit
signal.
Timeout?
That's the hand signal for Spirit timeout.
And
doing it upside down.
I'll be honest, that would surprise me, given I think the game's been played very fairly, very competitively, and with good smiles all round as well. Sesquidistus, only 3 points away from the win. Can they make it 2? We'll find out when we return here at the Elite Invite. 12-9 Sesquidistus lead. Coincidentally, that's the scoreline in a couple of other quarterfinals as well. Nulakt, having been pegged back by Tartu Turbulence, they now lead 12-9. Lemmings 12-9 up on Disconnection as well. Deep Space and Reading was a 3-point differential lost, I saw on the live score as well, but that was just at the half, 8-5. And I'm pretty sure we've had some scores since then. Be surprised if we hadn't.
Well, it is, of course, as we expected, the teams coming out on top. But obviously, it's lovely to see it only happening in the latter stages, sort of, of the game. Not really early doors, not ruthlessly ripping people apart. Because, of course, it's Elite Invite after all.
Yeah, you feel like regardless of where you finish in the pool, if you get it together, you play your best game, maybe you catch your opponent slightly flat, absolutely you could take whoever you face. Bru, putting it out into space, the chase comes from Faramelli. Sesquidistus is consistently able to reset when they need. Michon. Zlachi. Such an engine for them when they get the disc after the turn. Bru shoots down the line and is picked off. Manchots, you feel like they need this one if they're to have a chance. Lepru. De Peltier. Got that stack set up quite far away downfield, but it does give you more space for your handlers. And off Lepru's hands. A rare error for her. She's been immaculate in this contest.
Yeah, I think just kind of casually went up for that one, single hand, and just Falcon punched it out of contention for herself. Real shame to see, as you say, Benji. Pivotal point here for Manchots.
Bru again running the show after the turn. The awkward edge on that one. Took it in and out of the hands from Evan Chane. That sort of Oyo, the outside-in edge throw to the inside-out window, and it's tricky because it means it's coming across you, really, and it's not a natural position as a receiver. It can be a really effective way of hitting the space quickly, but it makes their task a little bit tougher. Petit Bon around to Lepru. Has the centering pass back to Petit Bon. First point in this game where both sides have turned it over multiple times. The big fake creates the window and Petit Bon watches it into the breadbasket. And another timeout. This time it's Manchots and Anselin Couder to take.
Yeah, things just looking a little bit static upfield. I think we're not really seeing quite as much of the dynamism with the deep space from the earlier stages of this game, and really having to work hard for these resets. But credit to Sesquidistus' hard defense and fresher legs. We'll take a break here in the booth, though. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back after this.
Get there. Yes, he will.
Sesquidistus leading Manchots. Just under 10 minutes, under 9 minutes left until the cap comes on, and the tap has been dripping away from Manchots. They haven't quite been able to just shut that one off. Sesquidistus escaping further and further away, but an opportunity to begin to peg them back now. Benji Rees and Hannah Pendlebury in the booth.
Yeah, Benji, I think Manchots need to really put some fire underneath themselves. They've got 8 minutes left of regulation time, trailing in this game considerably. And Sesquidistus, having responded well to the first break of score in the first half of Manchots, they just have made those defensive adjustments and are piling the pressure on. They need to just punch this one in and try and go on a run of their own.
Sesquidistus is going to come up with a zone defense in response to the horizontal setup from their opponents off the timeout.
Well, we have seen the use of zone to great effect. It has just smothered, put like a little damp cloth on this Manchots side, and not in a pleasant way.
I'll be honest, the damp cloth doesn't sound too bad on a hot day like today.
Yeah, no, that's why I specified not pleasant version.
I gotcha.
Maybe some swamp water.
The blade with air underneath it, it feels risky, and the tip comes and is enough.
Yeah, that just hung up far too long. Really solid coverage from Sesquidistus, and you can see Laurie Petitot, I think, there on his knees on the far sideline, celebrating the success of his teammates. Yep, looking a little bit less jazzed now, but obviously making sure his knees stay nice and flexed, I guess. Get another look at that one from Etienne Michon. Just absolute denial, none for you.
Sesquidistus swing to win. At least that's the plan. Cutter takes off towards the deep space. They're calling Michon's number here. Tipped. He gathers the second attempt, but there is a foul called.
Yeah, I think there was a bit too much arm flailing action there. Michon, I think, kind of encouraging or putting himself in the line of fire perhaps a tiny bit, because he is trying to slow down here as we get another look at that big old boost. So this is the moment where he's sort of trying to slow his cut down. It's a difficult one though, because of course the person with rights to that space is Erwan Hill.
Does feel like though that right arm might be wrapped a little around Michon's left. Have a look at it again from the high angle. Make your own minds up. The result on the field is that it's contested. I really do see Michon's point of view there.
Yeah. Hill is kind of swatting him away, I guess, especially on that high view. It is more kind of explicit. He does have that space, but you're not allowed to armbar people, unfortunately. Well, I say unfortunately, it is very fortunate, because, of course, one of the reasons a lot of us play Ultimate Frisbee is because it is a non-contact sport.
Theoretically, anyway.
In the rules, it's non-contact.
Even though there are a fair few teams that don't mind the little heightened physicality, a bit more argle-bargle. Big wide pivot before the reset to Bru. Looking into this underneath space, a deep shot takes off again and it's thrown, but there's two defenders there and it works anyway. Hey, when you're on, am I right?
I mean, I was very confused by the body language coming out of Etienne Michon when that one went up.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't confused because he thought, they double covered it, I'm open underneath, just take it. And Monet had a more spectacular offer in mind.
Absolutely, big old ripper. To be fair, I also had identified that target in the deep space. Michon was the only person not on board with it. Perfect displacement to get all the way to Charnay, and that will put another break. This roll of 4 points now for Sesquidistus. I'm gonna be bold, Benji. I'm not sure I see Manchots coming back from this. They've got 4 minutes left, and Sesquidistus will have all of the momentum. If it was 3, maybe 2 breaks, but 4 breaks up, just by virtue of having that start on offense. Sesquidistus really just proudly in charge of this game now. Revenge tastes sweet, I'm sure.
Evan Shane, the younger of the two Shane brothers, he's just 18. Anthony, who's the number 5, also on the roster, is 22. And it's nice having a little bit of familial support, I think. They often say teams are like families, but you know what's really like family? Family.
People that are your blood relatives or legal relatives?
Some changes to this O-line. Maybe just get some fresher legs out there. Change the fit slightly. Gouder runs a 1-2 with Pro. And gets a little bit of a clip there, I think, from Wagentrutz. 2.5 minutes until the cap horn, whistle will come on.
And exciting things are happening on the pitch behind us on our one-cam Ulti-TV stream, Benji. Tartu Turbulence just putting another on the board, and the last score update online was 11-12, so that might be levelling up with the Germans.
Yeah, Lorcan Murray on the remote comms, I'm sure he's having a grand old time there. Pro just doing a little bit of direction. A nice pickup of pace there for a throw and go. But this switch to the zone in the second half for Sesquidistus really has slowed down their opponents. It's a 4-point run for them now. They lead the second half 5-2. And that's what good teams can do. They can recognise and make those adjustments. Half times and timeouts are such a good opportunity for that. And Sesquidistus have hit on something, and they've hit big. As the Penguins are just going backwards at the moment. Now they get a bit of space. Not always a bad thing going backwards if it opens up a little bit of space in behind. That's a teaser. That finds Le Pezenek.
Oh, I love that. I was just going to say, Benji, why had they left Petitbon in all that space?
It does not necessarily feel like a great idea. And then Petitbon with the Petit push pass for the score. Punches that one in. Antoine Gouder has 4 assists. Now he's got his first goal as well.
Yeah, the strangeness there of putting Petitbon so far away from the disc. She's been dominating in the handler space quite frequently during the course of this match, but it's a great idea, to be fair. Of course, Manchots have quite a lot of talent, especially in this O-line. We're going to start to see them really need to put together their best 7. Time has just expired in this game, but we will naturally get a game to either 14 or 15, depending on if Sesquidistus can punch this next O-line point in, or if they might get broken.
I've just seen an ambulance come into the field complex behind us, which is slightly, more than slightly concerning.
Well, we have had the Red Cross coming to the pitches occasionally. As you say, Benji, hopefully that is nothing to do with any of the fields we can't see.
Hopefully it's just precautionary.
Well, I can see 2 games that are continuing, so that would suggest that there are no players out on the pitches that haven't been able to move off of the pitch, which is usually a positive sign. So hopefully just an ambulance going elsewhere, Benji.
Yeah, we'll get an update on that as we can. Across the halfway line now, Sesquidistus. First time their O-line's taken the field after a 4-point break. Wonder if they're still full steam ahead or whether they've cooled off somewhat. Don't know the last time I saw a Sesquidistus O-line without Guy Alonsolan out there.
Wow, he can sit on the bleachers for a little while, can't he? There's quite the margin, as Sesquidistus just look to punch in for their first match point. Next opportunity.
And it's still dripping with quality, this Sesquidistus side, whoever's out there. And whoever actually scores this point, it would still be match point next point for Sesquidistus, because it's either 14-10 game to 15 or 13-11 game to 14. But I'm sure Sesquidistus would like to finish as strong as possible. And so far, they're just outside the red zone, having not looked too flummoxed by anything so far. Been relatively serene progress. Petito has space on the far side. Has a bounce back inside if he wants it, de Libert, but not yet. Now puts the air underneath it. Right in stride for Gwendoline Chenet. 14-10, game to 15.
Well, Benji, now is when Manchots need to climb the mountain. It is quite the big difference. It does look like, actually, now we do have a little bit of a potential update for you. There is the ambulance has indeed stopped on one of the far fields. I can see that Lemmings are continuing their game, so it might, as you suggested, Benji, have something to do with this 8-5 and it's the deep space. Yes, there has been a serious injury to one of the deep space athletes, which is why that game is currently sat at 8-5 on our scoreboard.
Oh, yikes!
And the game will restart, I presume, on the fourth pitch, perhaps the warm-up field being used to conclude that one. Hopefully that player will be okay, and obviously we will try and get updates as to the status of that player this evening.
Yeah, elsewhere, Nulact just about keeping their noses in front, 13-12. Lemmings, 13-10 over disconnection last we saw. Justine Bru to pull. And female matching puller means 4 female and 3 male matching players at this point. Pro has to go to ground and then throws from his knees. Had time and just thought, let's get it out quick. Couder to Pro. Has a swing available to Lepreux and takes it. Lepreux and Couder in the centre, currently just playing it between themselves. Now getting an extra player involved. Hugo Urban. Lepreux to Pro, finds a little seam and bursts through it. Etienne Michon has a player behind, but doesn't necessarily seem too flustered. Almost daring Manchots to put it. So far, they're not offline. Oh, my word! Couder, you can't be catching that, my friend.
Ice in his veins.
Mon ami. No, no, no. Now they're playing quickly just outside the end zone. They've got the little bounce inside. Yes, 1-2. Thank you very much. We'll take that one. Yeah. Mijo, I think, with the assist potentially. Would have to get a double look at it on the replay.
Yeah, Gaetan Caminabe reeling that one in. At long last, we get a little bit of trading just to add the final flourish to this game, but
feels too little too late, doesn't it, at the moment?
I don't know, Benji. We did talk about the youth and how sometimes you get unexpected things coming out of younger athletes. Of course, all of these Manchots youngets do have plenty of big game experience. We've mentioned the silver medals at joint juniors, the caps for under-20s and under-17s programs. And of course, they're not all those youth superstars, but I reckon really fiery young D-line coming out hungry for blocks, bit of person defense, get themselves rocking and rolling. Who knows?
If they're confident enough to believe that they can win this from this position, then they actually are confident enough to win it from this position.
Correct. Belief, manifestation, all the things that people talk about.
Sesquidistus, however, I'm sure will be under no such quandaries. You can be sure that they bet that they believe they're winning it now. Sorry, that's Libert on his knees.
Is there that much height difference, Benji?
Well, I knew it was a player on his knees, but I just thought it was 16 and not 26. Barentin. Stride takes her across the halfway line, wanting to end it with the shot for goal. No, not this time. That's Peltier's instead.
Yeah, a little bit of overconfidence there, I think, from Maëlle Barentin. Of course, she'll be representing France later on this year in Australia with the mixed team. So that one, I think, from my view, Benji, looked like a fairly well-covered option and fantastic work from Peltier.
Petit Bon. Swinging across. High release, it's got float, it's got sit, and it's got a ultimately fruitless bid.
Yeah, trying to get a little bit too creative. The wind has picked up considerably during the course of this game. Just to make you aware, those discs are a bit more tricky than they were in the early stages.
Petito. In such a key cog for Sesquidistus game, and Antoine will want that one back. Shooting quickly the other way. Should be tracked well and is. Hill. Distributes. Courtoisie. Guillon. Punching it back to Courtoisie. The comeback is on, question mark.
Oh, Benji. Oh, Benji. I mean, we're getting lots of positive body language out of Sesquidistus, but the team, the Penguins, starting to try and build themselves a little luge to flip up into semi-finals. And look at this, Petit Bon, absolutely gorgeous backhand release. I thought for a minute that it might be a case of a little bit too much haste, but Erwan Hill, fantastic work, really lovely speed. And when we had that short field turnover off that lofty break that went to no man's land on the far side of the pitch, Benji, I did think in my head, I was like, that didn't really gain you many yards, but the pressure causing a little miscue from Sesquidistus.
And they've managed to get their foot in the door.
Yes.
Can they do more?
I kind of hope so. I mean, I think Sesquidistus have looked like the better team over the course of this second half for sure. Really just giving a good wrestle, a good puzzle for Manchots. So I have a feeling, Benji, we might see some transition to zone defense if Sesquidistus do not punch this in as a clean hold. But Ancelin on the pitch alongside Petitot, Barentin.
I mean, it just looks like a first choice O-line out there right now.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you've crossed over Justine Bleu just to solidify it slightly. Tiffaine Lachey as well. The mixed quarterfinal behind us has just wrapped up. Not going to spoil the winner for you there, but Petitot downfield, foul called though. The winner of this game will face, and fingers in your ears if you don't want spoilers for the next few seconds, Nulact have in universe dispatched of Tartu Turbulence.
Oh, universe point finish though. You've got to be happy for your development for Tartu Turbulence. They had a much shorter roster and looked very tired yesterday afternoon. We do also have an injury update from the Deep Space game, but we'll wait until this point concludes before we bring you that news.
Thank you, Hannah. Ancelin, with no one in the area, checks it back in himself. Bru to power up line, throw goes nice and early. Courtoisie was trailing slightly, that was all he needed. Oh, the throw low from Bru, and Barentin could not get underneath it. The door is very much ajar.
Yeah, that's not a great execution. You can see from the kind of the release point onwards, I mean, Barentin is capable of making some absolute hero plays, but that unfortunately is not one of them. We're going to see an injury replacement as well. Hopefully she'll be okay. Just a little bit of winding.
Yeah, Céline Antoine coming on for Barentin, I think.
And we'll also get some fresh legs for Manchots.
Looks like they're bringing Sam Pro on to give their offense a little more firepower. We did tell you it would be close. We weren't lying.
This mixed division has been throwing up some real spoilers, and I'm really here for it.
No untruth spoken on Ulti TV. Delighted to be bringing you coverage of this field, plus the one-cam coverage of the field behind, as Pro catches under some tight pressure and gets a bump for his troubles from Benoit Lebert. There's also the 2 VO camera fields as well, all available for you to watch with your season pass on Solid Sport, or maybe you've bought yourself a tournament pass, or you can buy the single games as well, so multiple ways to get involved. That's a floater, Petito rips it down. Surely now, with the short field, but bump on the mark potentially?
No, I think something up towards the stack, just by virtue of actually, I think Lachi was just staring at Gaël Lancelot, and no real movement from
Why aren't you moving? It's because there's something over there.
they're waving their arms.
Lachi, Petito. Oh, what a shake and bake. Double coverage falls his way. And that frees up Anthony Charnet. Back to Ansalan with the wind beginning to whip a little bit and a pick in the stack. It's just going to slow the game down somewhat. Couple of minutes till the next game is due to get underway, by the way. On this field, women's semi-final between Jinx and Shout. Yaka Moon Cup is the other semi-final. That's on the field 1, the single cam multi-TV coverage. Ansala, back to Lachi. Once the break, doesn't see it. Finds the tiniest of seams. Lebert goes back to Ansala. Forces on those handlers, sitting off a little bit just to prevent some downfield motion. Oh, a floater! It invites the pressure, but it rings true. Petito to Anthony Charnet and Sesquidistus. We'll see you in semis tomorrow.
Oh, wow. You really cannot ask more from your defender than that, to really just fly through the air and try and just miss them by margin, I am sure. But hats off to Sesquidistus. They really did put in a grind, and the adjustment, that nullifying zone that just seemed to sap the energy out of Manchots, really effective. I will now give you that little bit of intel about the Reading Deep Space game, Benji. It has been delayed for the injury. Thomas Fisher, unfortunately, breaking his collarbone on a layout bid. So our hearts and thoughts go out to Fish with Deep Space. I'm sure his compatriots will carry the torch, of course, having gone unbeaten in the pool stages, and they'll be able to finish that game out, because of course we have an extra field here at this complex here in Leuven that is just as plushy as the ones on our show fields.
Yeah, nice luxury to be able to have. We'll wrap this up quickly so we can get ready. Women's semi-final action coming at you next with Shout versus Jinx. But on behalf of Hannah Pendlebury, all of our Ulti TV crew and the EUF here in Leuven, mixed quarter-final action, final score, Sesquidistus 15, Manchots 12.